Maya Rodriguez stared at the new student sitting 3 seats ahead of her in chemistry class. Something about him felt wrong, but she could not put her finger on what it was. The boy had introduced himself as Kai Bennett when Mrs. Peterson asked him to stand up and tell the class about himself. His voice was clear and polite, but Maya noticed how he paused before every sentence, like he was thinking very hard about each word. "I moved here from up north," Kai had said, his pale hands folded neatly on his desk. "I like science and math. I hope we can be friends." The other students had given him the usual mix of curious looks and whispered comments that new kids always got. Maya watched him sit back down, noting how straight his posture was and how he never seemed to relax. Even now, 20 minutes into the lesson, Kai sat perfectly still while everyone else shifted in their seats or tapped their pencils. Maya had always been good at noticing things. Her mom said it came from being the debate team captain. She had learned to watch people and pick up on small details that others missed. Right now, those instincts were telling her that Kai Bennett was hiding something big. When the bell rang, Maya packed her books slowly and watched Kai do the same. He moved with careful precision, like every action was planned ahead of time. Most students rushed out of chemistry class, eager to escape the smell of old chemicals and Mrs. Peterson's boring lectures. But Kai took his time, checking his schedule twice before heading to the door. "Hey, new guy," called out Jake Morrison, one of the football players. "Want to sit with us at lunch?" Kai turned and gave Jake a small smile. "Thank you, but I prefer to eat alone while I get used to the school." Maya found herself walking behind Kai and Jake toward the cafeteria. She noticed that Kai kept his distance from other students in the hallway, always staying close to the wall. When someone bumped into him by accident, he stepped away quickly, like the touch had hurt him. In the cafeteria, Maya grabbed her usual turkey sandwich and chocolate milk, then looked around for Kai. She found him sitting alone at a corner table, far from the noise and chaos of the lunch crowd. His tray held only cold items, a salad, an apple, and a bottle of water. No hot food at all. Maya made a decision. She walked over to his table and sat down across from him without asking permission. "Mind if I sit here?" she asked after she was already seated. Kai looked up from his salad, and Maya got her first good look at his face. His skin was so pale it was almost white, and his eyes were an unusual light blue color that seemed to catch the light in a strange way. Up close, she could see that he was not just thin, but actually looked cold, even though the cafeteria was warm. "Of course not," Kai said, but his voice sounded nervous. "You are Maya Rodriguez, correct? From chemistry class?" "Yeah, that's me. You remembered my name from roll call?" "I have a good memory for names," Kai said, taking a small bite of his salad. "You sit in the third row, second seat from the window. You take detailed notes and ask questions that show you understand the material well." Maya raised an eyebrow. "You noticed all that on your first day?" Kai's face went even paler, if that was possible. "I am very observant. It helps me learn about new places quickly. Where exactly up north did you move from?" Maya asked, unwrapping her sandwich. "Alaska? Canada?" "A small town," Kai said quickly. "Very small. You would not know it." Maya studied his face as he answered. Something about the way he avoided her eyes told her he was not being completely honest. But she decided not to push. New students often had complicated reasons for moving. "What do you think of Colorado so far?" she asked instead. "It is warmer than I expected," Kai said, and Maya noticed he was wearing a long-sleeved shirt and a jacket, even though it was a mild October day. "I'm still adjusting to the temperature. You're cold?" "It's like 70 degrees outside." Kai's hand stopped halfway to his mouth with a forkful of salad. "I meant it as warm. I am used to much colder weather." Maya nodded but filed away another strange detail. She spent the rest of lunch asking Kai normal questions about his favorite subjects and hobbies. He answered politely but carefully, never giving away much personal information. When she asked about his family, he said they were busy with work and changed the subject. The afternoon brought physics class, where Maya got to see something that made her even more curious about Kai Bennett. Mr. Williams was explaining thermal dynamics, drawing diagrams on the board about how heat moved between objects. When he asked for volunteers to solve a complex problem, Kai raised his hand. "Let me try," Kai said. Walking to the front of the class. Maya watched as Kai looked at the problem for just a few seconds, then began writing equations on the board. But these were not the equations from their textbook. These were advanced formulas that Maya had never seen before, with symbols and calculations that looked like college-level physics. Mr. Williams stared at the board in amazement. "Kai, where did you learn this approach?" "This is graduate level. Thermodynamics." Kai froze at the board, his hand still holding the marker. I read ahead in some advanced books. "I like to challenge myself." "Well, your solution is absolutely correct," Mr. Williams said, shaking his head. "In fact, it's more elegant than the method we were going to use. Class, take notes on this approach." Maya copied down Kai's work, but she was more interested in watching Kai himself. He looked uncomfortable with the attention, and she noticed. His hands were shaking slightly as he returned to his seat. When he sat down, she could swear the air around him felt cooler. After class, Maya caught up with Kai in the hallway. "That was impressive," she said. "You must have read some pretty advanced books." "I enjoy learning," Kai said, but he would not meet her eyes. "We're going to be partners for the next chemistry project," Maya said. "Mrs. Peterson just posted the assignments. We're supposed to do a presentation on thermodynamics." Kai stopped, walking, and turned to look at her. "Partners?" "Yeah, you and me. The project is due in 2 weeks. We need to pick a specific topic and present it to the class." Maya smiled. "Lucky for me, you seem to know a lot about heat and temperature. I would prefer to work alone," Kai said quickly. "Too bad. Mrs. Peterson already made the assignments. Besides, I'm a good partner. I'm organized, I do my share of the work, and I don't slack off." Maya adjusted her backpack. "Want to come to my house tomorrow after school? We can start planning our project?" Kai was quiet for a long moment. Maya could see him thinking hard about something, like he was weighing pros and cons in his mind. "Your house?" he asked finally. "Yeah, it's quiet, and my mom makes good snacks, much better than trying to work in the noisy library." "I suppose that would be acceptable," Kai said, but he sounded uncertain. Maya wrote her address on a piece of paper and handed it to him. "Come by around 4. We'll figure out our topic and make a plan." As Kai took the paper, Maya noticed his fingers were ice cold, even though they barely touched hers. She watched him walk away, noting again how he kept his distance from other students and how he seemed to glide rather than walk normally. That evening, Maya sat at her desk doing homework, but her mind kept wandering to Kai Bennett. Everything about him seemed carefully controlled, like he was acting a part in a play. His perfect posture, his formal way of speaking, his advanced knowledge of physics, and especially his cold skin and pale appearance. Maya had always been curious about puzzles, and Kai was definitely a puzzle. Tomorrow, when he came to her house, she planned to pay close attention to everything he did. She had a feeling that Kai Bennett was hiding something much bigger than just being shy or smart outside her window. The October evening was getting colder, and Maya pulled on a sweater as she worked. She wondered if Kai would finally feel comfortable in weather like this, or if he would still wear his long sleeves and jacket. Something told her that tomorrow would be very interesting. Maya checked her watch for the 3rd time as she waited by her bedroom window. It was almost 4:30, and Kai was late. She had cleaned her room, organized her chemistry notes, and even asked her mom to make her famous chocolate chip cookies. Everything was ready for their project meeting, except for Kai himself. When the doorbell finally rang at 4:45, Maya ran downstairs to answer it. Kai stood on the front porch, looking even paler than usual. He wore his typical long-sleeved shirt and jacket, plus a scarf wrapped around his neck despite the mild October afternoon. "Sorry I'm late," Kai said, his breath visible in small puffs even though it was not that cold outside. "I had to walk slowly." "No problem," Maya said, stepping aside to let him in. "Come on up to my room. We can spread out our books and notes." There, Maya's mother appeared in the hallway, carrying a plate of warm cookies. "You must be Kai," she said with a friendly smile. "Maya told me about her new chemistry partner. Would you like some cookies?" They just came out of the oven? Kai looked at the steaming cookies and shook his head politely. Thank you, but I do not eat warm food. Do you have anything cold? Maya's mother looked surprised but quickly recovered. Of course, dear. I have some cold sandwiches in the fridge or some fruit. An apple would be perfect, Kai said. Thank you for your kindness. As they walked upstairs, Maya noticed that Kai kept his jacket on even though her house was warm. When they reached her bedroom, she turned up the heat a little, thinking he might be cold from walking outside. But instead of looking more comfortable, Kai seemed to grow more tense. You can take off your jacket if you want, Maya said, pulling out her chemistry textbook. It's pretty warm in here. I prefer to keep it on, Kai said quickly. I get cold. Easily, Maya spread her notes across her desk and gestured for Kai to sit in the chair next to her. As he sat down, she noticed something strange. The temperature in her room seemed to be dropping, even though she had just turned the heat up. She could see her breath starting to form small clouds when she exhaled. Is your heating system broken? Kai asked, looking concerned. I don't think so, Maya said, but she was starting to feel genuinely cold. Maybe the thermostat is acting up. They began working on their project, trying to decide what aspect of thermal dynamics to focus on. Kai suggested they study how different materials conduct heat, while Maya wanted to explore how temperature affects molecular movement. As they discussed their options, Maya noticed that Kai never looked at his textbook. He seemed to know all the advanced concepts by heart. How do you know so much about this stuff? Maya asked, pulling a sweater from her closet as the room grew colder. Did you take advanced chemistry at your old school? Kai paused, his pen frozen, halfway through writing an equation. I read many books on the subject. I find it fascinating how heat moves between objects. But some of this stuff isn't even in our textbook, Maya said, pointing to a formula he had written. This looks like college-level material. I like to study ahead, Kai said, but his voice sounded strained. Maya was about to ask another question when she noticed something that made her forget about the cold. Kai had pushed up his sleeves slightly while writing, and she could see his forearms. What she saw made her stare in amazement. Under Kai's pale skin, there were patterns that looked like frost on a window. Delicate, crystalline designs that seemed to move and shift as she watched. They were beautiful, like intricate artwork made of ice, but they were definitely not normal human skin patterns. Kai, Maya said softly, what are those marks on your arms? Kai looked down and saw what she was staring at. His face went completely white, and he quickly pulled his sleeves down to cover the patterns. They are nothing, he said, his voice shaking. Just old scars. Those don't look like scars, Maya said, her scientific curiosity taking over her. Surprise. They look like they're moving under your skin. Kai stood up quickly, knocking over his chair. I should go, he said, grabbing his backpack. We can work on this project another time. Wait, Maya said, standing up too. You don't have to leave. I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. I'm just curious. But Kai was already heading for the door, and Maya could see that he was panicking. His breathing was fast and shallow, and his hands were shaking as he tried to pack his books. The temperature in the room was dropping even faster now, and Maya could see ice crystals starting to form on her bedroom window. Kai, stop, Maya said, reaching out to touch his shoulder. Whatever's going on, you can tell me. I won't judge you or make fun of you. The moment her hand touched his shoulder, Kai froze completely. Not just stopping his movement, but actually freezing like a statue. His skin turned blue under her fingers, and his entire body became rigid. The temperature in the room plummeted, so fast that Maya's breath came out in thick white clouds. Maya watched in amazement as Kai's appearance changed completely. His skin took on a translucent, bluish quality, and the crystal patterns she had seen on his arms spread across his face and neck. His hair became white as snow, and his eyes turned a brilliant, glowing blue color. He looked like he was made of ice and starlight, but the most frightening part was that Kai had stopped breathing. His chest was not moving, and his body was completely still. Maya realized that whatever was happening to him was not normal, and it might be dangerous. Instead of running away or screaming, Maya's first instinct was to help. She grabbed the blanket from her bed and wrapped it around Kai's shoulders, trying to warm him up. When that did not seem to work, she ran to her closet and pulled out more blankets, wrapping them around his frozen form. "Kai, can you hear me?" she said, her voice gentle but urgent. "Tell me what's happening. Tell me how to help you." For several long minutes, nothing happened. Maya held the blankets around Kai and talked to him quietly, telling him that everything would be okay and that she was not afraid. Slowly, very slowly, the blue color began to fade from his skin, and his breathing started again. When Kai finally began to move, his first action was to look at Maya with wide, terrified eyes. "You are still here," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "Of course I'm still here," Maya said, keeping the blankets wrapped around him. "Are you okay? What just happened to you?" Kai looked at her face, searching for signs of fear or disgust. When he saw only concern and curiosity, something seemed to break inside him. His shoulders sagged and he sat down heavily on Maya's bed. "I am not what you think I am," he said quietly. "I am not human, Maya. I am something else entirely." Maya sat down next to him, still keeping one blanket around his shoulders. "What do you mean, not human?" Kai took a deep breath and looked directly at her. "I am from a place very far away, a place where it is always cold, where ice and snow cover everything. My people are called the Cryoxy, and we do not look like humans naturally. What you just saw, that is what I really look like." "You're an alien," Maya said, and her voice was filled with wonder rather than fear. "Yes," Kai said, waiting for her to run away or start screaming. Instead, Maya smiled. "That is the coolest thing I have ever heard. I mean, literally cool, considering you just froze my entire room." She gestured to the ice crystals still covering her window. "How long have you been here? How did you learn to look human? Are there others like you?" Kai stared at her in disbelief. "You are not afraid of me?" "Why would I be afraid?" Maya asked. "You're still the same person who helped me understand that physics problem. You're still the same person who was polite to my mom and didn't want to eat her warm cookies. You're just not from Earth, which honestly explains a lot about why you seem so different." Kai's eyes filled with something that looked like relief mixed with gratitude. "Most humans would be terrified. They would run away or try to hurt me." "Well, I'm not most humans," Maya said. "And right now, I have about 1,000,000 questions. But first, are you feeling better? Do you need anything to stay warm?" Kai looked at Maya with an expression of amazement. "You want to know more about me, even knowing what I am?" "Especially knowing what you are," Maya said. "This is the most interesting chemistry project ever. We're going to ace this presentation." For the first time since Maya had met him, Kai smiled a real, genuine smile. "There is much more to tell you," he said. "About why I am here, about my mission, about what my people are planning for your world." Maya leaned forward eagerly. "Then start talking. I'm listening." Outside, the sun was setting and Maya's room was slowly warming up again. But she knew that nothing would ever be the same after this moment. She had just learned that aliens were real, and one of them was sitting in her bedroom, trusting her with the biggest secret in the universe. Kai sat quietly on Maya's bed for a long moment, his hands folded in his lap. The ice crystals on the window were slowly melting, leaving water drops that caught the light from her desk lamp. Maya waited patiently, knowing that whatever he was about to tell her would change everything she thought she knew about the world. "I should start at the beginning," Kai said finally. "My home planet is called Glaciaris Prime. It is a world covered in ice and snow where the temperature never rises above what you would call freezing. My people, the Cryoxy, have lived there for thousands of years." Maya pulled her notebook from her desk and started writing. "You don't mind if I take notes, do you? This is better than any science fiction movie." Kai looked surprised. "You want to record what I tell you?" "Of course I do. This is the most important conversation in human history, isn't it? Someone should write it down." "You are very different from what I expected," Kai said, shaking his head in wonder. "Most humans would be too scared to think about taking notes." "Well, I'm not most humans," Maya said, pen ready. Keep going. Tell me about your people. Kai took a deep breath and continued. The Cryoxy are not the only intelligent species in the galaxy. There are many worlds with many different kinds of beings. We are all part of something called the Galactic Council, which is like a government that helps different species work together. How many alien species are there? Maya asked, looking up from her notes. Hundreds, Kai said. Maybe thousands. Some are very old and wise, like the ethereal minds who live in gas clouds. Others are young and still learning, like the stone walkers who are made of living rock. Each species is different, but most of them follow similar patterns as they grow and develop. Maya's pen moved quickly across the paper. What kind of patterns? Most species start by fighting among themselves, then learn to work together on their home planet. After that, they usually develop space travel and begin exploring nearby worlds. Eventually, they become peaceful and wise enough to join the Galactic Council, and humans don't follow this pattern. Maya asked. Kai shook his head. Humans are different. Very different. Your species has surprised the Council many times over the past 50 years. Most species become more predictable as they develop, but humans keep doing unexpected things. Like what? Like your art, Kai said. Most species create art that follows logical patterns, but human art comes from emotions and experiences that other species do not understand. Your music, your stories, your paintings, they are all created from feelings rather than facts, Maya smiled. That doesn't sound like a bad thing. The Council is not sure if it is good or bad, Kai said. That is why I am here. I am part of a mission to study humans and determine if your species is ready to learn about the rest of the galaxy. Maya stopped writing and looked at him. You're studying us? Like we're insects in a lab? Not exactly, Kai said quickly. The Council needs to understand human nature before making contact. Some species in the galaxy are afraid of humans because you are so unpredictable. Others think humans might be dangerous because of your history of wars and conflicts. And, what do you think? Maya asked. Kai was quiet for a moment. I thought I knew the answer when I first arrived here, but now I am not so sure. Maya leaned forward. What was your mission exactly? What were you supposed to find out? I was sent to observe human teenagers, Kai said. The Council believes that young humans show the true nature of your species better than adults do. Adults have learned to hide their real feelings and thoughts, but teenagers are more honest about who they really are. So you've been watching. It's like we're some kind of experiment? Yes, Kai said, looking ashamed. I was supposed to document how humans react to stress, how they treat each other, how they handle fear and anger. Then I was supposed to report back to the Council about whether humans could be trusted with knowledge of other worlds. Maya felt a mix of hurt and anger. So our friendship was just part of your research? You were just pretending to care about me? No, Kai said firmly. That is the problem. I was supposed to remain detached and objective, but I started to care about you and the other students. I began to feel things that my training never prepared me for. What kind of things? Friendship, Kai said simply. Loyalty, concern for your well-being. When Jake Morrison invited me to sit with his friends, I felt what you humans call gratitude. When I saw you working hard on your debate team presentation, I felt proud of your success. These emotions are not common among my people. Maya's anger started to fade. Your people don't feel friendship? We feel loyalty to our community and respect for our elders, Kai said. But the kind of personal bonds that humans form with each other are unusual in the galaxy. Most species work together for logical reasons, not emotional ones. That sounds lonely, Maya said. I did not think so until I came here, Kai said. But now I understand what humans mean when they talk about loneliness. I have felt it many times during my mission. Maya closed her notebook and looked at Kai seriously. How many other agents are there? Are there others like you in schools around the world? Yes, Kai said. There are 12 of us total, placed in different countries and cultures. We were all trained to blend in and observe human behavior for 1 year. And then what happens? In 2 weeks, we must submit our final reports to the Council. Based on what all 12 agents have observed, the Council will make a decision about humanity's future. Maya felt a chill that had nothing to do with Kai's alien nature. What kind of decision? If the reports show that humans are ready for contact, the Council will begin the process of introducing your species to the galactic community. It would start slowly, with just a few humans learning the truth, then gradually expanding until all of humanity knows about other worlds. And if the reports are negative, Kai looked down at his hands, then Earth would be placed under quarantine. No human would ever be allowed to leave this planet, and no alien would ever be allowed to make contact with humans. Your species would be left alone forever. Maya stared at him in shock. Forever? You mean humanity would never get to explore space or meet other intelligent life? That is correct, Kai said quietly. The Council has done this before with species that were deemed too dangerous or unpredictable. They are left to develop on their own, with no knowledge that other worlds exist. Maya stood up and began pacing around her room. This is insane. You're talking about the entire future of the human race being decided by 12 teenagers doing a science project. I know it seems unfair, Kai said. But the Council has made these decisions for thousands of years. They believe it is better to be cautious than to risk the safety of the entire galaxy. What have the other agents reported so far? Maya asked. Kai hesitated. I should not tell you this, but most of their reports have been negative. They have documented human violence, prejudice, and selfishness. They have seen wars on your news programs and witnessed bullying in schools. Several agents have recommended that humans be quarantined indefinitely. Maya felt her heart sink. And your report? What were you planning to write about us? I was going to write about the same things, Kai said, until I met you. What do? You mean? Your reaction to learning about me was completely unexpected, Kai said. My training prepared me for humans to respond with fear, anger, or attempts to harm me. But you responded with curiosity and kindness. You tried to help me when I was freezing. You're still here, still talking to me, even though you know I was sent to spy on your species. Maya sat back down next to him. Because you're my friend. Kai, yes, I'm hurt that you weren't honest with me from the beginning, but I understand why you couldn't tell me the truth. You were just doing your job. That is exactly what I mean, Kai said. Your capacity for forgiveness and understanding is not something my people possess. We hold grudges for generations. We do not easily trust those who have deceived us. So what are you going to put in your report? Kai looked at her with an expression of confusion and hope. I do not know. Everything I have learned about humans tells me that your species is dangerous and unpredictable. But everything I have experienced with you tells me that humans are capable of great kindness and wisdom. Maya picked up her pen again. Then we need to figure out how to show the Council the best parts of humanity. We have 2 weeks to save the entire human race. We? Kai asked. Of course we, Maya said. You said humans are unpredictable, right? Well, here's something your Council probably didn't predict. A human teenager who just learned that aliens exist and wants to help them understand why humanity deserves a chance. Kai smiled, and for the first time since Maya had met him, he looked genuinely happy. You want to help me write my report? I want to help you write the most important report in human history, Maya said. And I know exactly where we should start. Where? Maya grinned. With my little brother Danny, if you want to understand. What makes humans special? You need to meet him. He's going to change everything you think you know about our species. Outside Maya's window, the sun had set completely, and the first stars were beginning to appear in the darkening sky. Neither Maya nor Kai knew that among those stars, the Galactic Council was waiting for reports that would determine the fate of every human being on Earth. Maya did not sleep well that night. She kept thinking about everything. Kai had told her about the Galactic Council and the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. When she finally got up the next morning, she found her little brother Danny sitting at the kitchen table, carefully arranging his cereal pieces by color before eating them. Danny was 12 years old and had autism. He saw the world differently than most people, which sometimes made life difficult for him. But Maya had always loved the way Danny noticed details that others missed and how he could find patterns in things that seemed random to everyone else. "Good morning, Danny," Maya said, pouring herself a glass of orange juice. "How are you feeling?" "Today, the cereal box says there should be equal amounts of each color," Danny said without looking up from his bowl. "But there are always more brown pieces than yellow ones." "It is not fair to the yellow pieces," Maya smiled. Danny had been sorting his cereal the same way since he was 6 years old. Most people thought it was strange, but Maya understood that. It helped Danny feel more in control of his world. "Danny, I want you to meet someone today," Maya said. "A new friend from school. His name is Kai, and he is very interested in how people think and behave." Danny looked up at her with serious brown eyes. "Is he going to ask me questions about why I sort my cereal?" "He might," Maya said honestly, "but not because he thinks you are weird. He is trying to understand what makes people special and unique." "Will he laugh at me if I tell him about my rock collection?" Maya felt her heart break a little. Danny had been laughed at by other kids many times for his interests and behaviors. It had made him careful about trusting new people. "No, Danny," Maya said firmly. "Kai is not like those other kids. He is very kind and he wants to learn about different ways of thinking. I think you two will like each other." That afternoon, Maya met Kai by the school entrance. He looked nervous, carrying his backpack and wearing his usual long sleeves despite the warm October day. "Are you sure about this?" Kai asked as they walked toward Maya's house. "I do not want to upset your brother. Danny is stronger than people think," Maya said. "And he has taught me more about kindness and acceptance than anyone else I know. If you want to understand what makes humans special, Danny is the perfect example." When they reached Maya's house, they found Danny in the backyard, sitting on the grass and examining rocks with a magnifying glass. He had dozens of stones arranged in neat rows according to size, color, and texture. "Danny, this is Kai," Maya said as they approached. "Kai, this is my brother Danny." Danny looked up at Kai for a moment, then returned his attention to his rocks. "Hello," he said quietly. "I am busy with my collection right now. What kind of rocks are you studying?" Kai asked, sitting down on the grass near Danny. Danny glanced at him again, surprised that Kai was genuinely interested. "These are sedimentary rocks from the creek behind our house. This one has fossils in it, and this one has 3 different types of minerals." Kai leaned closer to examine the stones. "These patterns are very beautiful. How do you decide how to arrange them?" "By age. First, then by hardness, then by color," Danny said, his voice growing more confident. "Each rock tells a story about how it was formed millions of years ago." Maya watched as Kai listened carefully to Danny's explanations. She could see that Kai was not just being polite, he was genuinely fascinated by the way Danny's mind worked. "On my home planet, we have rocks made of frozen gases," Kai said. "They change color depending on the temperature and the time of day." Danny's eyes widened with excitement. "Really? What colors do they turn? Do they make patterns like these ones?" Maya realized that Kai was sharing something real about his alien world with Danny, treating him like an equal who could understand complex ideas. For the next hour, Maya watched her brother and Kai discuss rocks, patterns, and the way different materials formed in extreme conditions. Danny showed Kai his detailed notebooks where he recorded information about each rock in his collection. Kai shared stories about crystal formations on his frozen home planet, describing them in ways that made Danny gasp with wonder. "Most people think my rock collection is boring," Danny said as they examined a piece of quartz. "They say I should collect normal things like baseball cards or video games. Normal is not always better," Kai said. "Your collection shows patience, careful observation, and scientific thinking. These are valuable skills that many people do not have." Maya felt tears in her eyes as she watched Danny's face light up. For the first time in months, her brother was talking freely with someone new, sharing his passion without fear of being judged. Later that evening, after Kai had gone home, Maya found Danny in his room, writing in one of his notebooks. What did? You think of Kai? Maya asked, sitting on the edge of his bed. He listens differently than most people, Danny said, not looking up from his writing. When I talk about my rocks, most people get bored and start thinking about other things, but Kai was really paying attention. He asked good questions. What do you mean? He listens differently. Danny put down his pen and looked at Maya. Most people listen with their ears, but not with their minds. They hear the words I say, but they do not try to understand why those words are important to me. Kai listened with his whole mind. Maya hugged her brother. You are very smart, Danny, and you are right about Kai. He is special. The next day. At school, Maya pulled Kai aside during lunch to talk about what had happened with Danny. Your brother is remarkable, Kai said. His way of organizing information and finding patterns is more advanced than most adult scientists on my world. Danny has always been like that, Maya said. But most people just see his differences and think he is strange or difficult. That is exactly the problem, Kai said. The other agents have been focusing on human conflicts and violence. They are missing the most important parts of your species. What do you mean? Kai looked around the cafeteria, watching the students eating lunch and talking with their friends. Look at this room. You have students from many different backgrounds, with different abilities and interests, all sharing the same space peacefully. That boy over there is helping his friend with homework. Those girls are comforting someone who looks sad. This level of cooperation and empathy is unusual in the galaxy. Maya followed his gaze and realized he was right. When she looked at her school through Kai's alien perspective, she could see things she had never noticed before. Most species in the galaxy are very similar to each other, Kai continued. Everyone thinks the same way, acts the same way, wants the same things. But humans are all different, and somehow you still manage to work together and care about each other. Not always, Maya said honestly. There is still bullying and prejudice and fighting. Yes, but there is also forgiveness and acceptance and love, Kai said. Yesterday, I watched your brother share his most treasured possession with a complete stranger, simply because that stranger showed genuine interest. I have never seen anything like that on any other world. Maya thought about all the times she had seen humans help each other, teachers staying late to help struggling students, neighbors bringing food to sick families, strangers donating money to help disaster victims they would never meet. So what are you going to put in your report? Maya asked. I am going to tell the truth, Kai said. I am going to write about human kindness, human curiosity, and human resilience. I'm going to write about Danny and his rock collection and about you and your willingness to help someone who lied to you. Do you think it will be enough? Kai was quiet for a moment. I do not know. The other agents have documented real problems with human society. Violence and hatred exist among your people, just as they once existed among mine. But we are learning to be better, Maya said. Every generation of humans is more accepting and compassionate than the one before. We make mistakes, but we try to fix them. That is what I will argue in my report, Kai said. That humans should be judged not just on what they are now, but on what they are becoming. Maya looked around the cafeteria again, seeing her fellow students with new eyes. They were not perfect, but they were trying to figure out how to be good people in a complicated world. That had to count for something. Kai, Maya said, I want to help you write this report. I want to make sure the council understands what humanity is really like. Are you sure? Kai asked. This is not just about our friendship anymore. This is about the future of your entire species. Maya nodded firmly. That is exactly why I want to help. We have 1 week left to show the council that humans deserve a chance to join the galaxy. And I'm not going to let them decide our fate without hearing our side of the story. Kai smiled, and Maya could see hope in his alien blue eyes. Then we better get started. We have a species to save. The final week passed faster than Maya could have imagined. She and Kai spent every free moment working on his report to the Galactic Council. They interviewed students, teachers, and Maya's family members. They documented acts of kindness they witnessed at school and in their community. Most importantly, they worked together to find the right words to explain what made humanity special. Maya learned that writing for an alien audience was harder than any essay she had ever written for English class. Every human concept had to be explained carefully because the council members thought in completely different ways than humans did. How do I explain why humans create art when they are sad? Maya asked on Friday afternoon, sitting in her bedroom surrounded by notes and papers. Tell them that humans turn pain into beauty, Kai suggested. That is something my people cannot understand, but it shows the strength of human emotions. Maya wrote that down, then looked at the pile of evidence they had collected. Photos of students helping each other, stories about teachers who stayed late to help struggling kids, newspaper articles about people donating money to help strangers in need. Do you really think this will be enough? Maya asked. Kai was quiet. For a moment. I have been in contact with 2 of the other agents, he said finally. They have agreed to include some positive observations in their reports after I shared what I learned from you and Danny. Only 2? What about the other 9? Agents? They believe their original assessments were correct? They think humans are too dangerous and unpredictable to join the galactic community. Maya felt her stomach drop. So even if our report is perfect, it might not matter. The council makes decisions based on all the evidence, Kai said. If most reports are negative, they will probably vote for quarantine. Maya stood up and walked to her window, looking out at the neighborhood where she had grown up. Children were playing in the park across the street, their laughter carrying on the cool evening air. She thought about all those kids growing up, never knowing that there were other worlds and other forms of life among the stars. We have to try, Maya said firmly. Even if the odds are against us, we have to give humanity the best chance possible. I agree, Kai said. And there is one more thing we can do. What? The council allows agents to request a direct communication link during their final report. I can ask to speak directly to the council members while I submit my findings. Maya turned around to face him. You mean like a video call? Something similar. The council members would be able to hear my thoughts and see my memories through a telepathic connection. They would experience everything I have experienced on Earth. That sounds perfect. Why did you not mention this before? Kai looked uncomfortable. Because the telepathic link works both ways. The council members would see everything in my mind, including my feelings about humans and about you. They would know that I've become emotionally attached to your species. Is that bad? For an agent, it is considered a failure of duty. I was supposed to remain objective and detached. If the council knows how much I care about humans, they might dismiss my entire report as biased. Maya thought about this for a moment. But if they can see your memories, they will also see all the good things you have witnessed. They will see Danny with his rock collection and the way students help each other at school and how my mom offered you cookies even though you were a stranger. Yes, but they will also see that I have broken the rules of my mission. Maya walked over and sat down next to Kai. Sometimes breaking the rules is the right thing to do. You taught me that when you decided to tell me the truth about who you really are. Kai smiled. You are right. And if I am going to face punishment for caring about humans, I want the council to understand exactly why you are worth caring about. The next morning was Saturday, the day Kai had to submit his final report. Maya woke up early and found him sitting in her backyard, staring up at the morning sky. Even in his human disguise, she could see the tension in his shoulders. Are you ready? Maya asked, sitting down beside him on the grass. I have never been more nervous about anything in my life, Kai admitted. On my world, we are taught that emotions make us weak. But here on Earth, I have learned that emotions can make us strong too. How so? Love for your brother gave you the courage to trust me with his friendship. Fear for your species gave you the determination to help me write this report. Anger at injustice drives humans to fight for what is right. These emotions are not weaknesses. They are the source of human strength. Maya felt tears in her eyes. You understand us better than most humans understand ourselves. That is what I will tell the council, Kai said. That humans are not perfect, but they are always trying to become better, that they make mistakes, but they learn from them, that they are different from each other, but they find ways to work together despite those differences. Danny came out of the house carrying his favorite rock, a piece of quartz that caught the sunlight in rainbow colors. He sat down next to Kai and handed him the stone. This is for good luck, Danny said. I want you to hold it when you talk to your council. Kai took the rock carefully, and Maya could see how much the gesture meant to him. Thank you, Danny. I will tell them about your kindness too. Tell them that being different is not the same as being wrong, Danny said seriously. It took me a long time to learn that, but Maya helped me understand. At noon, Kai set up his communication device in Maya's bedroom. The device looked like a small crystal that glowed with soft blue light. Kai explained that when he activated it, his mind would be connected directly to the council chambers on a distant world. The transmission will be in my natural form, Kai warned. The room will become very cold again. I will be here with you, Maya said, wrapping herself in blankets. We are in this together. Kai activated the device, and immediately the temperature in the room dropped. His human appearance melted away, revealing his true cryoxy form, blue skin covered in crystalline patterns, white hair, and glowing blue eyes. But instead of looking alien and frightening, he looked beautiful and strong. Maya watched as Kai's eyes closed and his mind connected with the council. She could not hear what was being said, but she could see the emotions playing across his face as he shared his memories and experiences. For almost an hour, Kai remained motionless, communicating telepathically with beings on another world. Maya sat quietly beside him, holding Danny's quartz crystal and hoping that somewhere among the stars, alien minds were beginning to understand what made humanity worth saving. When the connection finally ended, Kai opened his eyes and looked at Maya with exhaustion and hope. What did they say? Maya asked. The vote was very close, Kai said slowly. 7 members voted for quarantine and 5 voted for contact. Maya's heart sank. So we lost? Not exactly. The council requires a 2/3 majority for quarantine. Since the vote was so close, they have decided to grant humanity a probationary period. What does that mean? It means they will begin limited contact with a small group of humans, scientists, diplomats, and people who have already proven they can accept alien life. If these initial contacts go well, they will gradually reveal themselves to more humans over the next 10 years. Maya felt joy and relief flood through her. We did it? Humanity gets to join the galactic community? Yes, Kai said, smiling. And the council was very impressed with the human representative who helped write my report. What human representative? You, Maya. They want you to be part of Earth's first diplomatic team. They said your perspective on human nature was exactly what they needed to understand your species. Maya stared at him in amazement. They want me to be an alien diplomat? They want you to help build bridges between humans and the rest of the galaxy. Are you interested? Maya thought about all the wonders that awaited humanity among the stars, new worlds to explore, new forms of life to meet, new knowledge to discover. Then she thought about her little brother and all the other humans who deserved the chance to be part of something bigger than Earth. Yes, Maya said firmly, I am very interested. 3 months later, Maya stood in a conference room at the United Nations, watching diplomats from 12 different countries listen as Kai, still in his human disguise, explained the basics of galactic civilization. It was the first official contact between humans and aliens, and Maya was proud to be part of it. The Galactic Council is excited to welcome humanity to the larger universe, Kai said to the assembled diplomats. Your species brings unique qualities that will benefit all civilizations. One of the diplomats raised her hand. What qualities are those? Kai looked at Maya and smiled. Your capacity for growth, your emotional strength, and your ability to find unity in diversity? The Council has never encountered a species quite like humans. After the presentation, Maya and Kai walked out onto the balcony overlooking New York City. The sun was setting, painting the sky in brilliant orange and pink colors. Do you ever miss your home world? Maya asked. Sometimes, Kai said. But I have found a new home here on Earth. The council has agreed to let me stay as a permanent ambassador. Maya grinned. So I guess we will be working together for a long time. I hope so, Kai said. After all, we make a good team. Who would have thought that a chemistry project would end up changing the course of human history?